Well, everyone, I'm sure you all know that Nintendo actually re-released three different game titles for the Nintendo Switch, and that is the Super Mario Nintendo 64 version, Super Mario 64, the GameCube game, Super Mario Sunshine, and then the Wii game, Super Mario Galaxy. And I think this is actually really cool. I love re-releases, and I was curious to see what the graphical differences were between both these games. Now, I didn't really see too many crazy things that were kind of side by side, and unfortunately, I'm not able to show the gameplay because I would have to rip basically what Nintendo did on their own channel, and I don't want to do that because they always copyright strike them. I would do it and give them credit, but they always copyright strike it. But I did take the still images of that, and then Nintendo Unity actually made a really good video, which I'll leave that link down in the description. And he showed some gameplay of the GameCube, Nintendo 64, and Wii version. So again, give him all the credit for the still images. I just screenshotted them, put them side by side. So give them all the clout. But I really wanted to see what the differences were graphics wise, and once this game officially comes out, I'll do side by sides, comparisons, and all that stuff. Now, this is a re release, but it's not like a rework. You know what I mean? With the Spyro trilogy and the Crash Bandicoot trilogy that came out, that was like from bottom to top, they redid the whole entire game. And this one, it just seems like they just made the graphics better, they made it more optimized. Just imagine like a more HD version. Now, starting off with the first screenshots, now I have the Nintendo 64 and the older versions on the left, and then the standard Switch version on the right. Well, this is not the standard version technically, and I tried to match the screenshots side by side, and I got pretty close for the most part. Now you can see that immediately when we look at the Nintendo, we look at the Mario with the Switch on the side over here, you can tell that obviously the Nintendo 64 version looks a lot more pixelated. You can tell around the Mario logo too. On the Nintendo Switch version, it looks a lot cleaner. Now, one thing I was really curious about was that I'm not too sure why they didn't just re-release, the Super Mario 64 for the Nintendo DS, because that one looks far better than the Nintendo 64 version, but I understand they were trying to go do different things. But this is an example of how much better the graphics will look like on the Switch. Now this is another example. So again, the Switch version here, the Nintendo 64 version here, and when you zoom into Mario, you can automatically see some pretty big differences. Mario looks a lot more in detail and just looks more HD in a way, where the Nintendo 64 version looks way more pixelated. You can even look on the numbers up top, same exact case. However, the big thing to keep in mind, and I saw this on Reddit, they were saying that the Switch version has a couple more Easter eggs and a couple more, different items, and the objects look a little bit different. I don't really see it. They look almost the same. Maybe this one looks a little bit more narrow, but they are almost identical. Now, they could be different. It could be a different version of the game, who knows? But from what I see, they both look kind of the same. It's just, the Switch version looks better. Now, this is another example of just a quick little, running around, and they seem kind of the same. Again, if you look at the back of mountains, you can tell some pretty big differences. This one is a lot more pixelated, and even looking at the tree, you can see that the tree looks way more in detail as well. And this one just looks a lot more pixelated. Same exact thing with the ground as well, and same things here as well. And the bombs look the same as well. Everything looks the same. I think graphics wise, like I said, that's the biggest differences between these two. And then the piranha plant sleeping, you can see the walls and everything look kind of the same, which I was surprised about. This one looks a little bit more in detail, obviously. The Mario walking is about the same, piranha plant is the same enemy, same everything so far. And then obviously underwater, I was kind of surprised by how similar everything looks when it's outside of just Mario. And the underwater thing looks almost identical. I kind of still like how the underwater looks a little bit more murky on the Super Mario 64 version. I think that's kind of, an side effect, but everything else looks the same here too. And in this one, I was expecting to see some crazy differences because there were a lot more different things going on, but you can see the exact same, format of everything. This is like that clockwork level, I think, or for something like that. I don't remember. And you can see if we zoom into the Mario, again, Mario is way more in detail. The background with the, the mushroom, surprisingly, that looks a little bit more in detail as well, and everything else looks about the same. So this is the Super Mario 64. Now let's go ahead and hit on the GameCube version of the, the Super Mario Sunshine. Now in this case, one really huge thing to automatically keep in mind is that with the Nintendo Switch version, you are getting that widescreen, layout. On the GameCube version, you weren't really getting that. You were getting that standard, TV. That's how all TVs were. I don't know what this is, like 4:3 or whatever it is. And this one is that 16:9 or whatever it is. I don't remember what it is. But you can tell beyond the graphics, that automatically is going to bring some. You can see that on the GameCube version. It pretty much cuts off like right here versus right here where you get so much more into the frame, which is really nice, and the graphics look far better on the Switch version as well. Now this is the running level, and you can see they kind of look the same. I wasn't expecting to see crazy differences, but I was still surprised to see that, Mario, obviously is a little bit less pixelated here, but they are very close in graphics. The biggest thing that I saw was the widescreen aspect on the Nintendo Switch version. And then this is the time where I switched it. So the Switch version is here, the GameCube version is here, and you can tell again widescreen looks so much better. But on top of that, I was expecting to see some differences in like the way the levels are, or if the statue was pointed differently. Not the case at all. They are almost exactly the same. And this is another sliding level. You can tell again they look almost the same. Again widescreen here on the Nintendo Switch. This is a bigger difference I was able to see. It looked a lot more pixelated on the GameCube version when you were getting submerged into the water. It eventually got a little bit clear, where the Switch version looked a lot more clear from beginning with. You can see there's a fish here too, which, maybe it was here too. I don't really remember the game that well. But yeah, you have, I guess, some more characters, maybe, potentially, probably not. But it's a possibility, who knows. Now this is one of my favorite screenshots of the game. I like the Switch one. It looks so much more colorful, looks so much more vibrant, but the GameCube version still holds up a lot too. You can see they are like side by side. They look so good right next to each other. The GameCube version looks really good still, but obviously the Switch one looks way more vibrant. Now let's go and hit on the Wii version, the Super Mario Galaxy, and you can tell I was surprised. Okay, this is crazy. They are almost identical. They look almost the same. If anything, the Super Mario Galaxy on the Switch looks a little bit more vibrant as expected, but the biggest differences that I saw in the graphics was the background. The background of the Super Mario Galaxy on the Switch looks so much more detailed and so much more sharp than the one on the Wii version, which is surprising. So this level, again, they look kind of the same. This one obviously looks a lot more in focus, looks more in detail, but the background looks better in my opinion, which is really surprising. And in this example, I was trying to see if there were any more added items or anything. That's not the case. Maybe there will be in the final version. But zooming into, this example, you can see much more in detail, much more rounded out. However, the Wii version kind of looks a little bit more grainy in a good way. It looks like the terrain looks a little bit more in detail, but not too many crazy differences. Now, like I said, the background looks a little bit better on the Switch version than on the Wii version. It's kind of hard to tell, especially when this video is like uploaded and compressed a little bit. But in real life, I can tell a little bit of difference between these two, which is really surprising. If I go in to zoom into this specific aspect as well, you might be able to see some bigger differences, with the Mario on the left. It looks a little bit, grainy, especially when you look at the egg. The island and the egg and everything looks so much more sharp on the Switch version, which is really cool. And this is the ice skating part of it. And I wasn't able to find too many crazy differences, surprisingly. Like with the previous two games, there were some big differences, but it's not until you zoom in do you see some of the bigger differences. But even then, like, this could just be a bad frame that I screenshotted. However, all the Switch frames that I got were really good, and you can tell a lot more in detail, way less pixelated. That's pretty much the bigger differences you're going to see in this case. In this level, you're also able to see, again, almost identical. However, the background, like I stated, is the bigger difference. This is the one place that I was able to see a consistent difference in for the Wii version and for the Switch version. The background looks so much better, which was already kind of hard to beat if I'm being honest. Like, you don't tell the differences though when you're just playing one-on-one. Like when you're playing the Wii version, this is, a super good game for the Wii in terms of the graphics, but the Switch version looks better, but you would never assume that if you weren't looking at them side by side. Now this is the last level that I'll go ahead and show you, and again, same exact thing, same characters, same everything. They're almost exactly the same. Again, if I zoom into Mario, you'll probably be able to see that, the Wii version looks a little bit more pixelated, and this is another example where they probably switched. So this is the Switch version and this is the Wii version. You can tell the Fly little logo looks a little bit more pixelated on the Wii version. The Switch one looks way more in focus. So that's really pretty much it. I can tell you I'm already going to pre-order it. I'm excited for it. It's just pretty crazy to see the differences in the graphics, and just how a re-release can improve these graphics. But I'm really hoping, I was hoping there would be some more characters and some other things, but I guess it is what it is. But that's really pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my main channel. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.